Not gonna lie, I'm pretty excited about this one. This is my M4A3 Sherman with a new turret design. This turret is the T23, to my knowledge, turret made for the M4 Sherman that was taken supposedly from something like a T23 prototype heavy tank, something like that. I'm sure somebody will correct me if that is wrong. Specifically to carry a 76mm gun for destroying other tanks. The M4 Sherman was not designed for destroying other tanks, as many people already know, primarily as far as what it was, the doctrine it was designed for, and had a turret like this. This is my M4 Sherman 75 with a little cannon on the end. This was the turret that I took off of this tank to be able to design the other one, but I just had it here for contrast. The T23 obviously made to carry a bigger gun, and it had some different features as far as it went. But for the most part, I wanted to sort of encapsulate what it was like for this model. I think the design turned out pretty well. It has primarily the same features as the other turret over here. The hatch opens and you can sit a minifigure inside, which is pretty cool, which is a full guy too. He's not even chopped up, which is very nice. And then I have a moving mantlet here, which is very cool. It's a 4-long mantlet instead of a 3-long mantlet to try to show sort of the wideness of it, a longer gun for sure, which I thought would be tricky to do. I made the version that was maybe one of the earlier ones that did not have the muzzle brake, and I like that version, and I couldn't find a way to make a muzzle brake, so I'm starting with that. Aside from that, it has a little bit of different sloping. The skeleton sort of shape on the inside of this base is about the same as the other one was. However, this turret has a little bit different sloping on the outside. It has sort of a more alien shape, if that makes any sense. I know the sloping is a little chunky. This is a personal preference. I like to build in this retro style, is what I call it. Kind of to show off more like vintage blocky Lego shapes and like I'm representing something in Lego, and I'm not trying to just make it very, very specific because you can still recognize it as the T23 turret. And then I have another 50 cal here, which is 50 caliber machine gun that's the same design as this one. This one I did not put an ammunition box on just because, quite frankly, I did not bother to look for the pieces. I was going to do it later, but it just doesn't have any ammunition in it, but it's still full and complete. And yeah, that's about it. I wanted to practice building some different turret variations. I wanted to do the 105mm howitzer for the Sherman as well. Still working on that, but I wanted to make some different variations because I have a pretty reliable Sherman body. Wanted a long gun variant, and potentially maybe do like an Easy 8 or some other Sherman variants in the future. But I wanted to build a T23 turret to start with that. There's supposed to be a loader hatch right here. That was a detail that I had on something like my Sherman Firefly turret, but I thought it was too bulky and too big. So in this case, there would be one, but since it's most cases it's flush on the actual turret in real life, I thought making a predominant thing there didn't really make a whole lot of sense. There would be one here, but it's just not a detail I chose to add. And then I moved the antenna. Other than that, that's it. This is sort of the prototype version of it. This is the one that I made that I've liked the best. And technically speaking, it's complete, though, when it comes to my M4 Sherman. As you can see, if you compared this M4 Sherman turret, this 75 turret, to the one that I had originally on my tank, it's quite different because I did a ventilator cap, and I changed the machine gun rack and the antenna and the extra machine gun and the rounded mantlet, and there are a bunch of things that I swapped out. So I can imagine that my T23 will change along the way as well. But however, sort of this is what it is for now. I think it looks pretty cool. I like having variations for my vehicles and my Sherman. I love my Sherman design. I'm very proud of it. I know that it looks a little derpy because it's a little bit, a little more chunky than what some people would like to do. But for the most part, it works pretty well, and I try to keep the play features. That being said, ironically, because this mantlet is a little bit fatter than the other ones, you can't actually open the turret doors. I mean, the hole hatches right here with any version. Like, it doesn't matter where you turn this, it doesn't open, which is interesting. The cool thing, though, is that obviously it doesn't take away from the fact that there's an interior inside, and you can still open the hatches and then place the turret back on, but it just doesn't completely function with this mantlet in the way, which makes sense. This one worked just fine. There are ways you can turn it where you can open these doors with the smaller mantlet, but I figure you have to obviously sacrifice some things. And there were turrets and stuff too that, depending on where the turret was traversed or if the gun was depressed, it would actually block the hatches on the real Sherman, which is always a little bit scary. Obviously, I don't have a turret ring. It's just sitting on the thing, so it doesn't have a designated place where it would spin. But the detail and the function is still all there, and the interior is still all accessible and stuff too. So that's really all for me today. I just mostly want to show off the T23 turret. I think it looks pretty nice on this tank. I wanted to do maybe some different hull variants, like do a composite hull or do a an M4A1, though that would be a little tricky. I'm trying to practice some different designs and some different things. This was the latest modification I've made to my M4 Sherman. I think a long gun looks really nice on it because I think it looks a little chunky with this shorter gun, though I do like this turret design and I'm quite happy with it. Naturally, like I said, I can imagine there'll be all kinds of augmentations and changes made to this turret design just because that's sort of the nature of the beast when it comes to designing Lego things, because that's kind of what I always do with my things. Like I change my suspension and my applique armor plates and all sorts of stuff. Sherman's quite different than the Sherman I had originally on my channel, but it's nice to see that sort of the evolution of it as well. So that's all for me today. I will be making a tutorial on this with any luck because I would like to be able to recreate this and build it maybe in some different camouflages or something too. Haven't really decided, but I think it's a pretty decent T23. I think it suits the scale correct, you know, to my tank pretty well, and it's a very serviceable T23 turret for this. And it's nice to have a long gun Sherman because I didn't quite frankly, I didn't like my Sherman Firefly very much. I feel like it wasn't very good because I missed some details on it, but I'm happy that this this T23 looks as good as it does because I think it's a pretty cool thing to add to sort of my all my little Sherman variants and stuff too. So as far as this video goes, that's it. That's all there is to it. It's a simple design that's on my simple tank design. I think it looks fairly nice and I'm very proud of it. And like I said, tutorials hopefully coming soon. I'd like to be able to get it designed up soon so that then people can build the T23 if they'd like to, or they like my Sherman variants or anything like that. So have a good rest of your day. That's all for me. Hopefully, like I said, T23 turret videos coming soon. As of now, that's it. I have been pretty busy with my job, so I haven't had a whole lot of time to be able to make a lot of huge, ambitious projects. I had some big Pacific Theater mocks, in case anyone wants to know, that I was planning to do. However, I'm kind of doing some smaller things because of my time constraints, but I'm still making some stuff, and I'm still having fun, so I hope you guys are too. That's all for me. Catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.